Hello everyone, I'm just doing a little sin guide, and I've been getting a lot of requests for this, so I figured I would do it with commentary, that way I can explain some things in better detail. First, I'm going to start with combos. I'm going to start with his basic stuff. I think a lot of people know his basics, but they're very important, so I'm going to talk about different ways to get into them and different ways to optimize them. Just a quick example is slash Elk Hunt Beak driver. That's a combo you're going to see Sin players use all the time. Different things you can do with this. You can loop it. This is character specific though. On Soul Bad Guy, for instance, it's very easy. It doesn't matter what distance or anything. You just do it, and it works. For a character that doesn't work on is Ino. It doesn't work on her at all. And then there's some characters where it only works at certain spacing. So like, I think Milia, if you're close to her and you do it, it'll work, but if you're too far away, it won't work. I'll probably try to put a list in the description of who it works on. You can only you can squeeze 3 reps out, but you'll put yourself in a starving animation at the default food level. You'd have to eat a little bit more if you want to get like a full 3 reps, but 2 reps is good. 2 reps is what you can get at the default food level. Let's say for characters that loop doesn't work on, you can do something like this. You can do Elk Hunt into Hawk Baker, then Beak driver. That gives you, it's not a ton of damage, but it's a little bit more damage than just doing Hawk or Elk Hunt to Beak driver. Now, let's say Elk Hunt, if you're trying to combo into Elk Hunt, it doesn't work at far away distances. So see, from here, it works, but from here, it's not gonna work. In that case, you can use Beak driver instead. And at some distances where Beak driver connects, you could then do Elk Hunt, but it's kind of like you see right there, it chains, but right there it doesn't chain. So it's very spacing specific. You know, obviously when you're close range it's much easier, but you want to take advantage of Sin's range, so kind of knowing when it will combo and chain at different distances is helpful. And even if you do drop the combo and they block it, you're going to be safe, so as long as they're not mashing reversals, it still ends up being a good pressure tool. I'm trying to think of some other basic stuff. I'll talk about launcher combos, like the air juggle I like to do. So I do slash, punch, slash, jump cancel, slash, and then I do forward heavy slash into his special moves. Bull bash, Beak driver. So but the only thing is that air combos are so finicky in this game that if you're like just the slightest bit up or down, it'll throw off the whole thing. In cases like that where you're not too sure, you can just kind of mash a lot of jabs to get your opponent at an elevation you're comfortable with before you go into the full combo. Or you can just kind of switch it up. I mean, that's kind of how it is on Guilty Gear. You just kind of have to make your air combos up on the fly depending on your opponent's elevation, because this combo, for instance, it won't work if your opponent's too low or if they're too high. See, in a controlled situation where I'm creating the juggle, it's easy to confirm into the combo I want to do, but you always have to be conscious of your positioning in the air, because the air combos in this they're much more finicky than other Arc fighters. Now, to go into some advanced stuff, his Hawk Baker is very important. This move right here, it has 2 different ways it can hit. It has like a regular way where they flash blue. That way doesn't give you a lot of combo opportunities, but the red version, the critical version, which you have to be close to trigger, is where he's going to get a lot of his extended combos from. Now, just to show a quick example, that's your basic setup for going into his advanced combos. And from that point, after Bull Bash, that move right there, you have a couple different ways you can extend the combo depending on your food meter and your screen positioning. Now, I'll show you kind of a food efficient way and a mid-screen option. So right there is an example of that's a food efficient way, and you can do that from mid-screen. You just cancel into his leap. When you're canceling to his leap after Bull Bash, you're gonna hold back, and then right at the last second, you're gonna press forward and heavy slash. Now another way that you see me use a lot in my videos, I combo into Beak Driver, I charge Beak Driver. Mid-screen, that's not too useful, but in the corner it's a stronger option. You also have to be careful because when you do Bull Bash, certain characters will bounce higher than others, so the charged Beak Driver may not always work. Like, it's usually the female characters that bounce higher, and it's much harder to do the charged Beak Driver follow-ups. In that case, you may just want to use leap follow-ups. As far as the combo execution, it's pretty straightforward. You just want to input all the moves as fast as you can. The cancel windows are kind of tight, so you just pretty much input them. It's not like you have to really time anything. You just have to input the moves, the series of attacks as fast as you can. It may take a little bit of time to get used to hitting all those different inputs really quickly. But once you get used to it, it's pretty easy. There's not a lot of special timing in Sin's combos. It just depends on the spacing of when you start them. Now, for example, if you don't have food meter, a good combo you can use, you can do something like Elk Hunt, cancel slash, heavy slash. That's a good way to get a knockdown while giving you food meter. Even if you have no food, you can still cancel into, you can still do a rapid cancel, or a roaming cancel, sorry. So you see, normally, see, I can cancel him before he goes into the starving animation. So even if you have no food, you don't have to feel like you're limited in your options as long as you have 50 meter. I can still just go in here, do Elk Hunt, and then cancel the starving animation into a knockdown and eat. When you do jump ins, I like the forward heavy slash. That move kind of pulls them into you, and it has a lot of hit stun, so it's a good jump in option. You can also use leap to kind of mix it up. Leap, if right at the last second before you're landing, Sin will actually turn around, so you can do stuff like that. You just basically hold the opposite direction, hold back the whole time, and eventually you're gonna turn into a 6 heavy slash. So you can kind of do like heavy slash if you want to pull them in, or you can do regular slash if you want to push them out, you know, to possibly avoid risking getting grabbed. Now his kick has some pretty interesting hitbox on it. It kind of has cross-up potential. So you can kind of play with that. It's one of my favorite moves to leap in with from like a far distance because it covers a large area. You know, if they try to jump, it's gonna knock them back against the wall, or you know, it has that option to cross up and stuff like that. So it's a good move to kind of like approach with if you're not too sure what your opponent's gonna do. Let me talk about his jump dust. This is kind of one of his overhead options. You know, you can do little stuff like jab, jump, dust. You can do something like that. You can do the bull bash, aerial bull bash, and then go into an air series. You can also do, you can cancel into a super. If I can get that with the combo. Wow. It combos, I don't know why. There we go. So you kind of have to, you have to hit the opponent at the right time. Like the higher you are when you hit the dust, the easier it's going to be to do that kind of follow-up. But you can do stuff like that. Let me talk about some dust stuff. Dust, I like to do air dust for a heavy slash, and then I do that air series I talked about earlier. There may be better dust combos, that's all I've practiced, honestly, so it works for me. For the wall, you can just do something like that. It's a meterless combo. Oh, I'm messing that up. So, you know, heavy slash, forward heavy slash, crouching heavy slash, and the heavy slash. It's all heavy slashes. You can do some extended stuff, but the damage scaling is pretty brutal, so I usually just stick with the basics. You see, that whole combo didn't really do much more than the heavy slash series. Let me talk about different poke options with Sin. His standing punch. This move it whips against crouching, but it's pretty good as a quick anti-air. If your opponent tries to do a deep jump in, you can kind of do a quick anti-air with it, since it has a high hitbox. Crouching punch is one of my favorite moves to approach with. It's fast, it's solid, and it gatlings into his other moves that you can confirm a combo with. Slash is his best button. Crouching, standing, jumping, it's a really good option no matter where you use it. Right here, his standing far slash is one of his better pokes. It has a ton of range. At max distance, you can go into Beak driver off of it and get any kind of random confirm you see. You can also use like Elk Hunt. It won't combo at max distance, but it's a good pressure tool. Sometimes people are pressing buttons or jumping, so you can kind of catch them with that. Crouching slash, I love this move. Like I use it a lot. It's so good at getting sneak flows in, you know, especially when you use it at max distance. So sometimes I use like a block string, and if they block it, I'll try to sneak in another crouching slash like that. Kick. I don't use his kick a lot, but it's okay. It's pretty good. His crouching kick is a low. It has decent range. I usually just go for heavy slash in most situations though, but his crouching kick is an option. Heavy slash. You can kind of have some fun with this move. The hit, like at a certain distance, when you're far away, the first hit will whip. So opponents kind of get thrown off by that and might stand up and get hit by the second low part. I've used it that way, and it's worked a couple of times. So you can kind of always keep that in mind if you want to look for different mix-up opportunities. Let's see what else. In the air, his jumping slash is really good as an air-to-air, and if it counter hits, you get a lot of time to follow up. His jumping punch is solid. If you think your opponent's gonna be going into the air with quick attacks, you're gonna want to use your jumping punch to kind of snag a hit before they do. His jumping heavy slash it's very interesting. Like, it doesn't have a lot of hit stun at all, but it has a very obnoxious hitbox, and it hits a few times, so even if a person blocks like the first hit or two, they may get hit by the third if they don't properly guard all 3 hits. You can kind of like jump through the air and just do it. It covers a lot of space, but like I said, it doesn't have a lot of hit stun, so if you just jump right into your opponent, they can grab you really easily. You can also do like air dash into aerial full bash. This is another thing that covers a lot of screen space. You know, you can get some kind of weird looking cross up stuff. It's hard to follow up in most situations without a cancel, but you could cancel, of course, and then go into some sort of air juggle. Let me just talk about some combos that I actually use. Crouching punch, standing punch, crouching punch, standing slash, crouching slash into Elk Hunt, Beak driver. That's one of my favorite bread and butters. Slash, crouching slash, Elk Hunt, cancel, slash, heavy slash, forward heavy slash. Sorry, I can't say all the inputs fast enough. I'll write the notations for this stuff in the description. I'm messing that up. Yeah, there's not much else, honestly. I mean, if you guys, it would be easier if you guys just tell me different questions you may have in the description if I didn't cover anything you're wondering. Since pretty basic overall, so I think it's just a matter of like taking advantage of his tools and using them the best you can. You know, optimizing the situations. Sin's biggest weakness, in my opinion, is his mix-up. You know, his only high option really is this, which is very obvious. So you can also use the jumping dust, but once again, it's kind of obvious. Like when I fight other Sin players, I can usually tell when it's coming. It's really obvious stuff. So you kind of have to just know how to get in there and take advantage of your opportunities, because for Sin, if you're fighting someone who understands how to guard him, you won't have as many opportunities to attack. Yeah, like I said, just comment in the description if you have any more specific questions. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video or just answer your comment, because I don't know, I know people want help on stuff, but I don't know exactly what they need help on, so I just kind of covered some really general stuff in this video. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.